Wes?
Ya, bisa ya.
Ada suara kermasuk-kermasuk itu. Katanya Rizky ya? Oke. Suara aku dengar ya?
Kedengaran.
Oke.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
today I want to explain my analysis based on feminist literary criticism on the part of Jane by Roxane Gay. Next slide. So here is the brief biography from Roxane Gay. So Roxane Gay is an American writer, editor, professor, and social commentator. She was born on October 15, 1974 in the United States. Her debut novel is IT in 2012, a novel which contained 15 short stories. She's famous as a non-fiction author. She is the author of The Bad Feminist in 2014 in New York Times Magazine best-selling essay collection. Next. So the Mark of Chains tells a story about a marriage trapped between two men. Husband Caleb is abusive, cruel, and unkind man. Husband has an identical twin, Jacob, who has the same look, manner, and everything as Caleb. And sometimes Jacob and Caleb switch places with each other, but she recognizes it and pretend not to act like she knows. Next. Here I'm explaining a bit what is feminism. So feminism is known as the women's movement. So it's a social, economic, and also political movement which occurred around the 1960s. And first wave of feminism was between the 19th century and the early 20th century. So this movement in the 1960s is not the root or the first wave. Instead, it is the second wave of feminism. And feminism as a social movement highlights the various ways women in particular have been oppressed, suppressed, and repressed. Next slide. So I will explain about feminist in literature. So feminist in literature is used as literary criticism. It is a criticism view based on the feminist perspective or point of view. So it helps us to look in different lanes of feminism to the literary work that we read. And feminist critics often view how characters are portrayed or treated in the story, specifically the female character. Next. So here is my analysis of story, the short story in the Mark of Chains. I found that some inequalities or feminist issues in the story. So the narrator or female character often gets the abusive behavior from her husband or the male, and it indicates that the male or the husband treats the female cruelly. And also the female tends to be oppressed by the husband to do whatever he wants. And I take the narration from the short story. I wear heavy eyeliner, dark lipstick, because my husband once said that he always wants me to look the way I did the night we met in a bar, drunk and not looking for trouble for the found us. So by the narration above, it can conclude that the male or the husband oppresses his wife to dress like they first met. And the next slide. So another inequalities of feminist issues in the story is the husband and his twins are always switch places just because they want to share with each other. So they think, or the twins think that the narrator on the book is like a doll to them. So Caleb grabs me by my waist, straddles me, and slaps my face. Don't ever do something like that, he says. Don't do an F and W word. And then he's flipping me onto my stomach, his untied hand pointed against my skull, holding me to the bed, threatening me like the W word doesn't want me to be. And once again, it can be seen in the narration above. The husband or the male treats the female like a prostitute and forces her to have sex. And it can be concluded that female is getting involved in form of domestic abuse, and it can be said rape. They are in a relationship or marriage. Okay, next slide. So I can conclude by analyzing the short story The Mark of Jane by Roxane Gay. The feminist issues or inequalities that can be found in the story are female or the actor in the story often gets domestic abuse by her husband, and then the female is not getting the freedom of her own body and forced to have sex, or it can be said a rape, even though they are having a relationship or marriage. And then the female is insulted by her husband by saying his wife as a prostitute. And the last is the female is viewed only as a sexual objectification by the males or by the twins. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, maybe that's I can tell you about my analysis on the short story The Mark of Jane by Roxane Gray. If you want to ask something about me, go ahead.
Andro, aku mau
Ya.
nanya. Tadi di PPT-mu ada tulisan webs dalam feminisme, gitu ya?
Iya. Iya.
Bisa dijelasin nggak apa aja?
Jadi wave feminism itu ada 3. Yang pertama itu terjadi sekitar tahun abad 19, di awal abad 20. Lalu yang wave kedua itu terjadi sekitar tahun 1960-an. Dan yang ketiga ada first wave, third wave of feminism yang terjadi pada tahun 1990-an sampai sekarang. Jadi yang first wave itu writers such as penulis seperti Charlotte Bronte, George Eliot, Johnson accepted the prevailing social construct of their day concerning the role and definition of women. Terus ya, second wave of feminism, female authors tends to dramatize the plight of the slighted woman, and they depicted the harsh and often cruel treatment of female characters by the more powerful male characters, seperti yang cerita tadi, the males mendominasi si perempuan. Terus yang phase yang ketiga, rejects the imitation of prominent feminine phase and the protest that dominated the feminist phase. Jadi kemunculan literary criticism, feminist literary criticism itu bukan di second wave atau di tahun 1960-an yang sebelumnya saya salah mengira, ternyata literary criticism itu sudah pernah dipakai beberapa author di abad 19 dan di awal abad 20-an. Mungkin itu sih.
Andro,
Ini ada yang mau tanya lagi?
Makasih,
satu
Andro.
pertanyaan boleh nggak?
Ya boleh.
Jadi in the end ini sisi feminis dari tokoh perempuannya ini, si istrinya ini muncul nggak? Dia mulai perlawanan atau mulai mengekspresikan dirinya sebagai wanita atau tetap ikutin suaminya atau tetap disiksa seperti di cerita. Ini kan tadi nggak ada dicantumin akhirnya ya, akhir dari ceritanya. Akhirnya dia muncul sisi feminis nggak perempuannya ini?
Dia muncul sih feminis sisinya, tapi nggak terlalu kelihatan soalnya gini, di akhir cerita itu dia sama suami kan ada dua laki-laki kan, si suaminya sama si kembarannya. Nah, si ceweknya ini seakan-akan gimana ya, menjauhi si suaminya, dan malah dia itu lebih dekat atau bisa gimana ya bilangnya, lebih si kembaran suaminya itu lebih baik gitu loh perilaku dia ke ceweknya. Jadi si ceweknya itu lebih nyaman ke kembarannya dia. Jadi dia itu
daripada
mungkin
ke
itu sih.
suaminya ya.
Iya, mungkin agak menjauhkan diri. Mungkin ada yang lagi.
Thank you ya, Andro.
Ya. Ada yang tanya lagi? Kalau nggak ada, lanjut ke presentasi yang berikutnya.
Ya, boleh lanjut aja kali ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Punya aku, Bro.
Han, share screen.
Apa?
Jelas gak sih ngomongnya?
Punyanya Rizky kan?
Kayak gini. Masih berisik nggak?
Masih.
Sekarang Sekar ya yang presentasi ya?
Bukan. Si Rizky ya
Rizky.
ini ya?
Oh, Rizky. Oh yaudah.
Iya, habis Rizky baru aku.
Sini aja dah. Jelas nggak?
Ya.
Halo, maaf. Halo,
Ya, halo.
ada suaranya.
Lagi. Yang share PPT-nya Rizky sendiri.
Halo.
Yang share PPT tetap aku apa Rizky?
Rizky ada yang dirombak nggak?
Kok nggak bisa ngomong ya?
Udah kok,
Tapi
udah
suara kamu
Ada suaranya
kedengaran.
loh kalian.
Jangan pakai headset coba. Bisa nggak?
Halo.
Audio setting
Halo,
coba
halo.
di Zoom-nya.
Udah, ada.
Ada. Nah.
Oke.
Oh ya.
Mukanya gelap banget ya, Ki.
Nggak apa-apa. Ya, ini yang share screen.
Share screen.
Aku dadekno host. Jadiin host dulu aku.
Nanti record-nya berhenti.
Yo, berarti kamu Ki yang share screen.
Aku belum download PPT. Sebentar.
Apa lanjut ke Sekar aja langsung?
Mau aku nih.
Sambil nunggu
Bisa.
Kiki ini.
Bisa.
Tapi filenya share screen-nya gimana?
Ada satu yang operator nggak sih? Siapa tuh yang mau share screen?
Ya settingan share screen-nya Ki, ubah Ki ke semua partisipan Ki.
Bentar dulu.
Bisa apa nih?
Gimana Bro?
Problem Ki. Share screen-nya aturannya itu loh, settingnya diubah ke semua partisipan.
Di mana?
Yang di tombol share screen. Kalau partisipan ada nggak?
Iya ada nih.
Itu.
Ini siapa yang mau share screen? Aku aja.
Enggak, aku aja coba.
Andrew aja yang share screen kali.
Aku aja loh apa. Kelihatan nggak?
Belum. Udah.
Nah, udah.
Oke, kelihatan.
Ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Saya akan membawakan short story Fat and Thin by Anton Chekhov. In short story, Fat and Thin are two friends who haven't seen each other for a long time and then meet again. Then the two of them met at the station. Then the fat man called the skinny one, and it turned out that the status of the two men was different. The skinny was surprised and proud because his friend got a high position. Jadi singkat cerita, ini adalah cerita antara dua sahabat masa kecil yang satu gemuk dan yang satu kurus. Kemudian mereka sudah lama nggak bertemu, kemudian ketemu lagi di stasiun. Kemudian si yang gemuk ini memanggil yang kurus dan saling bertanya-tanya, ternyata status mereka berdua sudah jauh berbeda. Dan si kurus pun kaget dan bangga karena temannya itu mendapat posisi yang tinggi, yaitu sebagai Dewan Penasehat Rahasia. Terus menggunakan teori genetik strukturalism, the author and the work have similarities like a parent giving birth to a child. Fat and Thin by Anton Chekhov has the theme of social status, respect, class, persuasion, self-interest, justification, equality, and apparent and change. Penulis dan karya memiliki kesamaan, seperti orang tua melahirkan seorang anak. Fat and Thin karya Anton Chekhov ini bertemakan status sosial, rasa hormat, kelas, perspektif, kepentingan diri sendiri, ketidakpuasan, kesetaraan, penampilan, dan perubahan. Chekhov mungkin sedang mengeksplorasi tema status sosial. Dengan karakter Porfiri tampaknya terkesan dengan fakta bahwa Nisa, temannya yang gemuk, telah mencapai posisi Dewan Penasehat Rahasia. Porfiri seolah-olah memperlakukan Nisa secara berbeda ketika dia menyadari fakta bahwa Nisa adalah anggota Dewan Penasehat. Kemudian genetik strukturalism, main case-nya Porfiri dan Nisa. Terus hubungan yang kedua adalah hubungan karakter lain dengan pemeran utama adalah anak dan istri Porfiri. Kemudian connection with other object is history, the story of Porfiri's life. Jadi di suatu adegan si Porfiri ini menjelaskan, Porfiri menekankan garis keturunan istrinya, seolah-olah dia ingin orang lain tahu bahwa istrinya berasal dari kelas yang menyenangkan. Porfiri mencoba membuat Nisa terkesan dengan mengatakan kepadanya bahwa istrinya adalah dari aliran Latin, yaitu suatu aliran. Terus conclusionnya, similarity between the literary work and this author is that Anton Chekhov was a Russian doctor and short story writer and screenplay writer. With his social status, Chekhov may be exploring the theme of social status in short story, which may be the point Chekhov is trying to make This may be important because they show that Porphyry believed in importance of social status. Kesamaan antara karya sastra dan pengarangnya adalah bahwa Anton Chekhov adalah seorang dokter ya dari Rusia, kemudian penulis juga, penulis drama dengan status sosialnya. Chekhov dapat mengeksplorasi tema status sosial dalam cerita pendeknya ini yang mungkin menjadi poin yang coba disampaikan oleh Chekhov. Ini mungkin penting karena bahwa karakter Porphyry percaya akan kepentingan status sosial. Seolah-olah status sosial seseorang lebih penting bagi Porphyry daripada karakter individu, yang mungkin menjadi salah satu poin yang coba Chekhov sampaikan. Terima kasih. Apakah ada pertanyaan? Jika tidak, terima kasih.
Sekar presentasi.
Siapa yang share screen-nya punya Sekar?
Emang aku bisa nih share screen?
Udah bisa semua.
Oh, udah bisa. Ya. Ada ya.
Cobain.
Ada yang bisa share screen punyaku? Oh, ini bisa.
Bentar, Pak.
Banyak notif. Maaf tuh.
Kelihatan.
Oke. Udah. Di Zoom, Bro. Iya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah. My name is Sekarati Utami. Today I would like to presentation about my analysis. The title is Feminism Theory, The Chrysanthemums by John Steinbeck. Next. In this presentation, I will explain some of the things that I have analyzed. Next. First is author profile. John N. Steinbeck was born 27 February 1902 at California, US. He is an American novelist. He received the Nobel Prize for Literature 1962. Steinbeck attended Stanford University intermittently between 1920 and 1926, but didn't take a degree. For his book's attend success, he spent considerable time supporting himself as a manual laborer while writing, and his experience lent authentic to his depiction of the lives of the worker in his stories. Next slide. For summary, at a ranch in the Salinas Valley, Eliza Allen tended to her chrysanthemums while watching her husband talk business with some men down by the tractor set. She does her garden work with ease and eagerness. She's a strong lady and she has got planter's hand, whatever that means. Her husband returns from his successful business deal and he wants to go into town to celebrate. They plan to finish their work for the day and head into Salinas for dinner. She's interrupted by the arrival of a stranger, a man who fixes pots and pans. He drives up to the house on a ramshackle wagon and asks Elisa for direction and work. Elisa and the man have quite the conversation, and Elisa seems to develop a connection with the man. This connection culminates when she passionately tells the man about her chrysanthemums and gives him some spots. When he leaves, she returns to the house and beds and gets dolled up for the date with her hubby. He arrives home and gets ready too. As they had foretold, she sees the chrysanthemum sprouts she had give the man lying by the side of the road. Soon after, Elisa and Henry car pass the wagon and the man. After discussing their evening out of bit more, Elisa turns away from Henry and cries. Next slide. And these are the characters in the story. Elisa lives with her husband, even though Elisa feels trapped, underappreciated, and frustrated with life. Another characters is Henry Allen and the Tinker. Next slide, please. And theory I use is feminism. Feminism is a set of diverse social theories, political movement, and moral philosophies that deal with the experience of women. As a social movement, feminism has focused on limiting or eradicating gender inequality and promoting women's rights, interests, and issues in society. In recent decades, a number of feminists have been spread through the world, although negative stereotypes about feminists are still quite common. Feminist ideals are often subject of mainstream or even conservative political speech. Next slide. Feminism view of the chrysanthemums. The chrysanthemums offer readers a wide variety of perspective. Elisa's character emphasizes of the feminism side of herself, where she tries to explore her feminine side, but rather to show that Elisa is different from other women and even wants to show herself as a woman who is able to break the general perception of women. Next. The feminism side can be seen from the following quote. The first, with her strong fingers, she pressed them into the sand and tapped around them with her knuckles. The word strong from the quote above show that it is a representation of woman's self-strength, where in this case, Elisa is able to show herself that she is a strong and tough woman. The second is her face was eager and mature and handsome. Even her work with the skisser was overeager, over powerful. This quote is very unique and interesting, where it is clearly displayed here that Elisa is described as a man with the word handsome, as it is known that handsome is synonym with manhood. In addition to feminism, the gender equality carried out by Elisa's character is very obvious in this story. Elisa would like gardening, wears clothes that are usually used by men, and also a man's black cat, and she is described as a handsome woman. It is very clear that the author purpose in describing Elsa's character. Next slide. And the last is conclusion. The chrysanthemums is met with the issue of feminism and gender equality described by Elisa's character. This story shows that women efforts to be recognized and not humiliated by men. And in this story, seem to break the general perception of weak women and want to show that women can do any job or whatever men do. And the most important thing is how strong a woman is. Thank you for listening. Any question?
Sekar,
Yeah.
I want to consider what I told. Jadi ini konflik feminismenya itu ada pada dirinya si tokoh utama itu ya, Elisa itu ya. Jadi
Iya, betul.
suaminya itu nggak pernah ngelarang dia untuk mengenakan pakaian atau berdandan atau kelihatan seperti lelaki, tapi dia punya konflik dalam dirinya sendiri kalau dia tuh nggak bisa seperti perempuan lain gitu ya.
Iya, betul.
Apa
Lebih
benar?
ke
Oh,
dia pengen membuktikan bahwa diri dia ini berbeda dengan perempuan yang lain. Nah, tapi suaminya ini dia nggak mengapresiasi bahwa istrinya ini gitu.
oh, oke. Aku salah ngertiin.
Gitu.
Jadi suaminya juga
Ada yang
nggak
masih
ngedukung dia kalau sebenarnya si ini tuh dia berbeda gitu dari wanita
Iya,
lain.
betul.
Nggak ngertiin itu. Oke.
Iya, betul. Karena kan biasanya perempuan itu kan apa ya, butuh pertolongan dari laki-laki lain kan. Dan suaminya ini nggak mengapresiasi sekalipun istrinya kalau misalkan istrinya ini bisa ngelakuin sendirian gitu. Kayak yang aku jelasin tadi.
Oh gitu. Jadi dia suaminya tuh maunya dia kayak bergantung gitu-gitu ya. Padahal dia bisa sendiri. Oh,
Kan pada
oke.
zaman saat itu kan pakai gaun, lemah lembut.
Oke. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions? Ada pertanyaan lain? Cukup ya. Kalau sudah, thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ini next aku ya. Udah kelihatan belum ini?
Udah, Bel.
Udah, Bel.
Apa?
Udah.
Ya.
Udah, tadi udah. Tadi udah.
So here. Good afternoon, everyone. Suaraku kedengeran nggak?
Kedengeran. Aman.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Delia, and here I want to explain my research of analyze this poetry, and the title is "I Am a Woman" by Suicidal Snow White. This is her or his initial name. And next, sorry ya, aku nggak bisa slideshow. Bisa kelihatan kan?
Kelihatan kok.
Halo? Kelihatan?
Iya, kelihatan, Bel.
This is the poem, and generally this poem is about a woman yang sedang mengeluh why he is born, so how hard her life as a woman. Teman-teman bisa baca ini kata-katanya, banyak keluhan dan perbandingan antara apa yang dia terima sama laki-laki sama apa yang laki-laki terima. So I choose feminist criticism theory for analyze my this poetry. What is feminist criticism theory? Feminist theory is a form of rhetoric criticism that feminist theory. Berkeley is understood to be concerned with the politics of feminine, and it is through feminine principles to critique the male-dominated literature. And next, this is the analysis of this poem. I will read this. This poem describes the signing of a person who born as a woman, while women always receive less than men receive in life, and we are not free to speak their opinions, while others are free to speak themselves. Why should a woman accept the consequence like mock, insult, even harassment when she wearing something she wants? Why is being a woman such a petty thing or helpless?
Okay.
Actually, women can be and I made this conclusion, and then conclusion is, first of all, woman is human too, who rightful to respect the way people respect men. Women are also have rights and choices like men. Freedom in life should not be restricted by gender because all gender are matter. A woman should feel safe in any place if she was alone. Men would have power over them. A woman must have power over them so that society cannot control and restrict women. Being a woman does not make you less of a person, and being a woman is not an embarrassment. So these are my conclusions. If any response or question, so feel for ask. Thank you.
Bel, saya mau nanya.
Oke, silakan, please.
Tadi kan di slide, kalau nggak salah slide 1. Yang 4 coba. Yang 4. Bukan, berarti yang analisis tentang feminisme po ya? Ini ya. Berarti pada intinya teori feminis ini itu lebih cenderung kayak mengkritik perilaku seseorang ya?
Sebenarnya feminis dalam literatur ini dia itu bukan mengkritik perilaku seseorang, tetapi mengkritik dominasi laki-laki kan di dunia di real life ini kan. Kita bisa lihat sendiri betapa banyak sih larangan untuk perempuan bisa berkarya, berkarir gitu. Sedangkan laki-laki tuh bebas banget, bisa ngapain aja karena dia laki-laki. Perempuan itu dibatasi karena dia perempuan. Nah, jadi feminisme ini dipakai untuk mengkritik hal-hal seperti itu, hal-hal yang terlalu membatasi wanita dan hal-hal yang terlalu banyak didominasi oleh laki-laki. Jadi semuanya harus mendapatkan hak yang sama antara perempuan dan laki-laki. Selama mereka mampu untuk untuk mengerjakannya atau menjalaninya. Gitu. Jadi bukan untuk mengkritik perilaku seseorang, tapi mengkritik dominasi laki-laki di dunia ini. Seperti itu.
Oke, saya paham. Makasih Belia.
Oke. Sama-sama. Is there any other question or response?
Mungkin aku mau tanya bentar.
Oke. Please.
Ini di luar materi sih. Menurut pandangannya kan ada ungkapan bahwa
Andro, maaf, ulangi coba, ada sinyal kurang jelas.
Ini aku tanya di luar, agak di luar materi ya,
Iya,
tapi tetap berhubungan. Menurut pandanganmu, kalau kan biasanya ada ungkapan bahwa jika adanya kekerasan seksual itu yang disalahkan biasanya malah korbannya yang berdandanan seksi gitu-gitu kan. Menurutmu itu dalam pandangan feminis itu gimana? Wanita berpakaian yang seksi atau dan sebagainya?
gini ya, sebenarnya kalau masalah itu kan masalah kontrol diri ya, kalau misalnya harassment gitu, kekerasan seksual gitu kan. Eh, Pada dasarnya itu untuk mencegah suatu kejahatan itu sebenarnya kita yang harus menahan diri ya, bukan orang lain. Apalagi kita yang sebagai pelaku gini, semua orang itu punya kebebasan untuk berpakaian dan eh, kenyataannya itu enggak semua perempuan yang memakai pakaian seksi itu yang menjadi korban. Ada juga yang berpakaian tertutup seperti seperti saya ini sekarang ya, pakai kerudung gitu-gitu, itu juga kena, dan itu di mana saja tempatnya. Jadi kesalahannya itu bukan pada pakaian, tempat, atau waktu. Kesalahannya itu murni kesalahan dari dari pelaku, dari diri pelaku sendiri, karena dia nggak bisa kontrol dirinya itu sehingga berani berbuat seperti itu. Jadi gitu kan, kejahatan itu muncul dari niat pelaku, ya kan, sebagian besar, dan juga ada kesempatan. Seperti itu sih pandangan aku.
Ya, makasih.
Okay. If no one want to ask, so we will end up this my section. Thank you all for paying attention here, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yang selanjutnya siapa yang mau presentasi? Rehan ya?
Guys, zoomnya keburu
Rizky, di pause dulu ya. Satu lagi,
Apa yang belum pernah?
aku share dulu ya.
Rehan.
Iya.
Andro,
Aike,
Toy.
oke.
Yuk.
Oke, sebelumnya Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Perkenalkan, nama saya Muhammad Raya Muzaki. Nomor NIM saya 19.26261. Di presentasi ini saya akan menjelaskan tentang tentang analisis dari puisi milik Anglo-Saxon yang berjudul The Battle of Maldon. So, pada analisis ini saya menggunakan teori pendekatan milik Marxisme. So, what is the poem The Battle of Maldon? The poem is about commemorating the glorious victory between the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxon armies. But in this war, there was a crushing defeat on the Anglo-Saxon in 991, which the Anglo-Saxon army fled to fend off the Vikings near the city of Maldon in X. Analysis of biography or history of the Anglo-Saxons. So Anglo-Saxon is the history of the cultural identity of most of the ethnic groups in mainland Europe and Western Europe. It developed from groups that differed in the narrow relationship of faith adoption to Christianity and was an integral part of the formation of the various empires in Europe. Dan ini merupakan salah satu contoh dari bentuk karya yang bisa dibilang ini adalah kaligrafi dari kitab suci orang Kristen pada saat masyarakat Anglo-Saxon. Seperti itu. And then analysis about the relationship between the sociology of literature and society. In the Battle of Maldon, there is a poem that reads, jadi ada sajak dalam puisi The Battle of Maldon itu bunyinya, then Birot began to array men there, wrote and gave counsel, taught warriors how they must stand and that steady hold, bade them their own side rightly hold fast with hands, not all frightened. Jadi penjelasannya itu, based on the theory of approach from Marxism, the general concept of which is Marxism is in the poems, namely Bernard, who gives direction to his subordinates to prepare and survive. And then what is the relationship between the sociology of literature and society? From the quote of the poem, the context of society can be understood that Marxism theory of approach regarding the relationship between the sociology of literature and society serves to determine the condition of society at the time, in which there was case difference between a commander, namely Bernard, who ordered his subordinate or soldiers to always be willing and survive on the battlefield. And next, this is analysis about the relationship between sociology of literature and the writer. Jadi hubungan antara sosiologi literatur dengan penulis. What is the relationship between the sociology of literature and the writer? Di dalam sajaknya ini itu ada bunyinya itu seperti better that better was, whereas fell on either hand young men lay. One was wolf mare, choose slow bed, with not kinsman, he was with swords, his sister's son Bethlehem. So the connection between the sociology of literature and the writer is that the poems are meant to tell a reader how cruelly the Vikings killed the Anglo-Saxon soldiers at the time. Jadi di sini itu bagaimana penulis itu menyampaikan sebuah informasi tentang bagaimana kejamnya tentara Viking pada saat itu membunuh tentara Anglo-Saxon. Salah satunya itu adalah kerabat dari Bernard sendiri yang terbunuh di situ. Dengan cara apa? Dengan cara dipahat gitu. Ya nggak tahu antara dipahat kulitnya atau dipahat wajahnya, saya juga belum tahu. Kemudian analisis dari hubungan antara sosiologi literatur dengan pembaca gitu. The relationship between the sociology literature and readers of the Anglo-Saxon poem The Battle of Maldon is that we as readers of the poem can understand how emotional the social situation and the war condition of the conflict between the Viking army and the Anglo-Saxon army are over the ring and well in the form of the tribute and gold. As readers of this argument can be proven when a Viking envoy spoke by the sea. Jadi ada pembuktian bahwa ada utusan dari Viking itu dia bilang pada saat di laut gitu. Yang dimana Viking utusan dari Viking ini mengatakan, Simon send me quickly to you, ordered me tell you to send rings at once. Well, for defense, better for all of you that you will tribute this fair was. Forget then that we shall so bitter a war. Nor need we kill each other if you perform it. For God, we will fasten a truce with you. If you determine it, the Magus here that you for your people ransom will pay. Give to the seamen at their own choosing well for a truce and take peace from us. We with that payment shall to our ships on once ocean fair hold peace with you. Kemudian di penjelasan ini menjelaskan tentang hubungan antara puisi The Battle of Maldon dengan konsep teori teori dari Marxism, pendekatan Marxism. So the theoretical approach of Marxism provides an overview of the concept that refers to a reflectionist approach. The meaning of the reflectionism is the relationship between life that awakens humans, so that when you look at life, you will realize that you are human. But in Marxism theory, it is more inclined to difference in status, economy, sociopolitics. And in relation to the poem, The Battle of Maldon, it can be imagined that during the Anglo-Saxon era, social phenomenon occurred, namely the existence of a feudal case where there were differences in the titles between commanders and soldiers. Namely, the Vikings would thought that with the struggle for wealth, there will be peace in a country. And then the conclusion is the conclusion in the poem, The Battle of Maldon, is that the author conveys a picture or shadow of the conditions or circumstances during the war conflict between the Anglo-Saxon army and the Viking army who fought over rings and wealth in the form of gold and tribute. In addition, the author also conveys how cruel the Viking soldiers were when they killed Anglo-Saxon soldiers, one of which was Wulfmare, seperti yang tadi saya sudah jelaskan, a relative of the Anglo-Saxon commander Byrhtnoth, who was killed with a castle. Oke, sekian dari saya. Apakah ada yang mau ditanyakan, teman-teman? Halo.
Ya, gitu aja mungkin.
Kalau tidak ada yang mau ditanyakan, sekian dari saya.
Sudah kan banyak nanya.
Oh, ada.
Ya. Mau nanya, lalu apa yang membuat puisi ini cocok dengan pendekatan ini, pendekatan teori Marxisme?
Oke. Mungkin bisa dilihat lagi pada slide yang ini. Dari pertanyaan dari Mas Rizky Nur Alamsyah, mungkin jika kita bisa bilang kenapa saya menggunakan teori Marxisme pada puisi ini, karena di dalam puisi ini itu menampilkan sebuah perbedaan status yang dimana pada Marxisme, pendekatan Marxisme itu memiliki atau lebih cenderung pada perbedaan status ekonomi dan sosial politik. Dan perbedaan status itu ada pada slide ke pertama yang ini, yang dimana Birnot merupakan seorang panglima itu menyuruh prajuritnya untuk bersiap dan bertahan pada medan perang. Seperti yang ini, then Birnot began to array men there, wrote and gave counsel to warriors how they must stand and that steady hold, bid them their own side right hold fast with hands, not all right-handed. Nah, di sini ini ada namanya perbedaan status antara panglima dan prajurit. Kemudian pada bagian perbedaan ekonomi. Pada perbedaan ekonomi itu bisa dilihat pada ketika seorang utusan Viking itu mengatakan yang di laut itu bahwa jika tidak mau berperang maka serahkanlah semua harta kekayaan Anda, termasuk cincin, emas ataupun upeti gitu. Di situ. Mungkin itu bisa membantu. Maka dari itu teori ini menurut saya itu cocok pakai pendekatan teori Marxisme. Seperti itu Mas Rizky. Semoga membantu. Ya, kalau tidak ada lagi, sekian dari saya. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.